Yeah, I drink whiskey once again. Let's talk about the RICOH THETA Z1 in this video. Today is a special day for me because this is the 1 year's anniversary for me to have RICOH THETA Z1, and during the past 12 months, I did created lots of beautiful and interesting panoramas with this camera. In May 2020, the RICOH THETA Z1 is still one of the best camera dedicated to one-shot 360 photography. And the emergence of the RICOH THETA Z1 did push the 360 industry a giant step forward. My name is Yuqing. I am a 360 photography maniac, and on my YouTube channel, you're gonna learn something about one-shot 360 photography and master a one-shot 360 camera like never before. I remember that the official release date for the RICOH THETA Z1 was May 26th, 2019. On that day, you can purchase the camera on Amazon Japan. But you know, I live in China. I cannot get this camera by its initial release because in China, due to some Wi-Fi certification latency, the RICOH THETA Z1 was released in August, not in May. In May 2016, I purchased the RICOH THETA Z1 on Amazon and sent to a convenience store. Once it's been shipped out, I order a flight to Japan, go to the convenience store, show my express number, get my Z1, go to the airport, fly back to China. So this is how I get this camera. It's really ridiculous. At that moment, for a 360 photographer to have a dual 1-inch sensor, the triple folded optic system, you have no other choice. I also want to express my special thanks to Sam Ron, the excellent 360 photographer based in New York, Brooklyn. This amazing guy makes me totally hyped for the RICOH THETA Z1, which drives me to fly to Japan and get this camera back to China. As a 360 photographer and YouTuber, I have seen lots of interesting videos talking about the RICOH THETA Z1 on its initial release to the world, but after 12 months, things have changed a lot. And as a heavy-duty THETA Z1 user, let me share with you some of the killer features, in my opinion, in May 2020. And I was lucky enough to attend the RICOH THETA Z1 launching event back in the June 2019 in Belfast RVRP annual meeting. On the presentation, Shinobu Fujiki said that the people want more quality about the RICOH THETA series.
Photographers like you always told us they need more quality.
And the pursuit of quality drives the RICOH engineer to craft and design brand new triple-folded optic system. So this optical system is one of the best part for this camera. If you are lucky enough to see the transparent version of the RICOH THETA Z1, you will see that about 2/3 of this camera is actually the lens module, the triple-folded lens module. Triple-folded optic system make dual 1-inch sensor possible to be contained in this tiny form factor, very slim and very compact, and it could fit in your hand. Shinobu Fujiki said the triple-folded optic system is just acrobatic.
Even as a camera manufacturer, we can say this adapted structure is acrobatic or even crazy.
Apart from the acrobatic triple-folded lens system, the RICOH engineer also implies an aperture mechanism inside the lens module. That makes the RICOH THETA Z1 the world's first one-shot 360 camera that has aperture priority mode. Because the sensor size of the cameras like RICOH THETA Z1 is still very small compared with the SLR. You cannot distinguish the differences in most situations between f2.1 and f5.6. For me, the aperture priority mode is actually an ND filter for me, especially when I want to shoot light trails at night, I can switch to the f5.6, and now I have a longer shutter speed for me to capture beautiful light tails. And I do want to have a smaller aperture like f16 or the f22, but it's kind of impossible because the image quality will drop dramatically in such small aperture, in such a small sensor. Theoretically speaking, you can achieve the best imaging quality at f3.5. The RICOH THETA Z1 has a Snapdragon 625 as SoC and uses Snapdragon ISP in charge of the whole 360 photography pipeline down in the hardware. It's running an Android operating system inside its tiny little body. So we can install some apps which we call plugins on the RICOH THETA series. And with all these amazing apps or plugins, the RICOH THETA Z1 has become very unique and very powerful. For example, if you install the Dual Fisheye plugin, your RICOH THETA Z1 will become the world's first camera that supports in-camera HDR DNG format, which is a 16-bit float DNG that provides you very high dynamic range in post-process. And that makes the RICOH THETA Z1 the world's first camera, not one-shot 360 camera, but the first camera that supports HDR DNG. And if you install the Asindra, you can even get a 32-bit EXR format directly from the camera, which is very powerful in the visual effects industry. And for some official plugins and third-party plugins, you will have 4K live, or voice control, smart device, a USB data transfer, and so on. The handheld HDR is actually a very interesting feature equipped with the THETA V and THETA Z1. Considering the THETA Z1 has dual 1-inch sensors, the imaging quality for the handheld HDR is even better compared with the THETA V. The product manager for the THETA Z1 always set the handheld HDR as a default settings when powered on the THETA cameras with a 2-second countdown timer. And you can try on your own. And if you want to learn more about the handheld HDR, you can check out this video in the description. And the handheld HDR really makes your life easier than before. The multi-bracket shooting mode is a very unique shooting mode for the RICOH THETA series. And for the THETA Z1, because we can shoot in RAW, the multi-bracket shooting mode is even more powerful compared with its predecessors. And you can set up to 19 different exposures in the sequence. And you press the shutter button, all of the imaging sequences will be captured one by one. The THETA Z1 is designed for the professional photographers in every aspect. It has a Lightroom plugin called the RICOH THETA Stitcher. And the RICOH THETA Stitcher has been updated to version 2.0, which has a batch process, everything we want from the professional photographer. So this compatibility, this workflow makes the THETA Z1 easy to use professional level one-shot 360 cameras for most photographers. And to tell you the truth, this workflow is going to be better in a few days. Gonna have a huge update on the RICOH THETA Stitcher once again. When we're talking about this THETA Z1, we have to know a very talented guy, Yoichi Hirota. So this guy has changed the THETA Z1 and this whole industry dramatically. And I have several videos talking about this guy and his contribution to this industry. You're gonna learn that with his apps, you will have a mobile DNG workflow. This workflow will help you get professional level quality only with your cell phone. The THETA Z1 is a premium level product in the RICOH THETA series. It was designed to be a prosumer level product aimed at the top level or the hardcore 360 photographers care very much about the quality. The last killer feature in May 2020 is that during the past 12 months, many of the top level 360 photographers, they have purchased this camera, and now you can see lots of amazing content created with the THETA Z1 on Facebook or on other platform. So for me, the RICOH THETA Z1 is far from perfect. Number one is the battery life. Though the battery will drain really fast if you are a heavy duty user like me. so better carry a power bank and charge your THETA Z1. And I do have some review about the power banks, as you can find here. The second is capacity. The 19GB internal storage is far from enough for the RICOH THETA Z1. I could capture up to 30GB in one day from the THETA cameras. And the USB data transfer plugins not working on all of the THETA Z1 models. I don't know why. The other weakness is a lack of USB mass storage mode. When you connect your THETA Z1 to your computer, it works differently on Windows and Mac. And for some of the Mac users, you have to use the THETA transfer apps or some other imaging gallery apps to transfer the images to the computer. So that is not very user-friendly. The RICOH THETA Z1, for me, the electrical architecture based on the Snapdragon 625, it's kind of like old-fashioned. Yes, I do hope that in the future, the RICOH THETA Z1 could have a much more powerful chip built inside. But I do understand the RICOH's environment because the one-shot 360 camera is not a mass media market. We cannot always use the cutting-edge SoC. But Snapdragon 625 in 2020 is kind of like old-fashioned, and will make the RICOH THETA Z1 very limited for the computational photography mad science. Next, let's talk about some future expectations for the RICOH THETA Z1, or maybe the Z1S or Z2, Z3. Number one is I'd like to enjoy more of the computational photography features on the RICOH THETA series. Such as the RAW Plus feature, the super resolution, based on the hand trimmer, right? And some other computational photography mad science like the Apple Deep Fusion technology.
What it does, it shoots 9 images. Before you press the shutter button, it's already shot 4 short images, 4 secondary images. When you press the shutter button, it takes 1 long exposure. And then in just 1 second, the neural engine analyzes the fused combination of long and short images, picking the best among them, selecting all the pixels, and pixel by pixel, going through 24 million pixels to optimize for detail and low noise.
That will make the one-shot 360 photographer much more interesting than ever before. I want the RICOH THETA Z1 to have a much better accessory system. Yes, I do want the RICOH guys to build a whole system about accessories for the next generation. And will make the camera much more powerful and will make the creator more possibilities to create amazing content in 360. I want the RICOH THETA future model to have a much more powerful SoC inside the camera body, but still maintain a very good heat dissipation, but still a very small form factor. I know it's very hard to do so, but I do hope that we have a powerful platform with less heat and more computational resources. Let me share with you my RICOH THETA Z1 galleries, because I don't want to talk like a nonsense all the way around. I would like to show my result with the RICOH THETA Z1. And I think my result with the RICOH THETA Z1 will be very convincing for you.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah.
I am very excited with the RICOH THETA Z1 during the past 12 months, and I hope in the future I could still capture and create beautiful, interesting content in 360 format for you guys, and share with you more of my photos, my behind the scenes videos with you guys on my YouTube channel. This is my personal feeling about RICOH THETA Z1 after 12 months. I hope this video will be helpful and help you understand the RICOH THETA Z1 like never before. And I will see you in my next video.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching